So let's dive in to our recipes. Now I'm going to go through these. Here are they. They're all, I've color coded them across, but our 7 recipes. So let's just jump right into recipe number 1. And just to recall, this is where we're looking at getting elements from the Revit model. And this, you'll see that this, I call it a recipe, but it's actually very, very straightforward. There's not a lot of nodes that we need to use here. Now, I want to make clear too, you look here on the left-hand side in Dynamo, you can see I have a whole bunch of packages installed. And one thing I really like about Dynamo is that it's open source, so people can contribute their own packages of nodes. And they've built the search right into the software. So if I'm looking, if I want a node that does something with walls or rooms, I can go up here and I can just go on search. So let's see different nodes that are available to go in. You'll see it's syncing with the server. And so it's going to go and do that search. And I think my internet is slow because I'm doing the recording right now. But ideally, it would come up with a list of all of those room-related packages. Now, the nodes that we're going to look at today, these are all out of the box. They're out of the box nodes and libraries. So we're not going to be doing anything that's custom. We're actually only going to go to a handful of these libraries. The ones we're going to look at specifically are going to be in this core library here on the left. And these are, basic Dynamo nodes. And then we're going to look at this one under Revit. And again, these are all out of the box stuff. So if we go into the Revit, oops, I missed it. Here we go. Back to Revit. If I go into Revit selection, I'm going to see all the nodes that have to deal with selecting things from the model. So if I want to select elements by category, all I need to do is take a categories node and then an all elements of category. And if I zoom in here, you'll see that each node has an input on the left and an output on the right. So for all elements of category, my input is the actual category that I want to get. And then it's going to output a list of those elements of that specified category. So right now, the category I have selected is rooms. And I have Dynamo set right now to on manual mode. I can set this to automatic, but for now, I'll keep it at manual. When I set it to manual, I actually have to click the run button for it to actually do anything. If I keep it at automatic, Dynamo's always running in the background. So I just clicked run. You'll see I don't have a full script here, so it's telling me that the run completed with warnings, which is fine. But what it did is it went out to the model and it got some of these elements of the category. So if I hover my mouse over here on the lower right-hand corner, I get this little box that says list and 91. So it's telling me that there are 91 elements of the category rooms. So I can click that down and I can click the pin button if I want it to stay up. And these are all the room elements that it selected. Essentially, these are all the rooms in the model. And it indexes them starting at 0. So the first element in the list is 0. The last element is going to be 90. And that's consistent with any programming language. The list will always start at 0. And then here's the element ID. So I have collected essentially all of those objects, which is great. So now I have all the rooms. Now I can start to do stuff with them, and we'll make our way through all the recipes and we'll start making some assemblies here. Now I can also too get all of the elements by type. Now, one thing to note, so I've been working inside of the Revit API for a while, and I haven't figured out kind of the logic between what gets classified as a category and what gets classified as a type. And there's some inconsistencies in here. So if I go on to select, I can go to the room type. Here, there's room category and then there's a room type. But if I run it, you'll see I'm going to get an error. So I'm going to click run. And it gives me an error. So anytime you get an error, it turns your node orange. Then you get a little box above it. So it says that the room is an element type that exists in the API, but not in Revit's native object model. So they say use spatial elements instead, and then post-process the results to find the element of interest. Okay, you know what? If that happens, I say just go and get category. It's a lot easier. And that's true, I think, of most things, that you're going to want to go first to get the category, because in here I can specify rooms, I can get doors, section marks. Category is a much wider range of stuff, and it's a lot more specific. So for example, I can get, a category window, but if I go to an element type, I can't. There's no window element type. What I would have to do instead is get family instance. And let me find that, because a window is a type of family instance. So type is much more general, category is much more specific. But for example, it's all going to depend on what you're trying to do. Maybe I do want to get all the family instances and I want to perform, some sort of operation on all of them. Then I could use, this would make a lot of sense. So let me give this a run, and you'll see it's going to give me a whole bunch of family instances. So there's 5,471 family instances in my model. So I'm going to actually, let me show you something else. There's a node called watch, and up here at the top of my library pane is a search bar. So I can use this just to type in a node if I know it by name. And it's this is actually really handy, and I use the search bar a lot. So I can just click on that, and it's going to pull out this watch node. So I'm going to connect my get all by type to the watch node. And then when I give this a run, it's actually going to output what's coming out of that node. It's similar to when I hover over here, but this is a node that is persistent. So I can build that into my script. And I'll do that occasionally too, because it's handy to see what's going on, what's coming out of the nodes as I go through it. So in this case, I'm getting all of the family instances objects, and you can see it's giving me their type name. And they're just, again, same thing, they're coming in the list in the order in which they were created. So depending on what I'm doing, most of the time I'm going to get them all elements by category. Sometimes I may want to get them by type. It depends on what you're trying to do. Now I can also get all of the elements by a level. So I can choose a level, and then I can get all the elements by that level. And again, these nodes are in this Revit selection library. So I can select a level here. So I use the levels node. It reads the model and it gives me all the levels that are available. And then if I use all elements at level, I can get all of those elements there. So that's actually pretty useful if I want to get, work within a specific region. So I'm going to connect this to my watch node. And if I click run, this is going to list all the elements that are on level 01 entry level. And what do we have here? 4,712. So I'm creating these big kind of selection sets of elements based on different criteria, by the element type, by the category, by the level. I can also get all of the elements in the current view. Let me just minimize here. So I'm just working in the Revit sample file, which is always a good place. If you're testing out a script, good one to work with. So I could go to any of these views. Let's go to our roof view. And if I switch back into Dynamo, and I'm going to give this a run, actually, I'm going to connect it right here. I'm going to give it a run. And there's actually nothing, no model elements in there. So if I change my view, and you'll see too, which is interesting, it doesn't give me any of the annotation elements or anything. It's only giving me model elements. So let's go back to our entry level here, switch over to Dynamo. I give that a run, and now I'm going to get a whole bunch more elements because there's actual building geometry in that particular view, and it's chugging. Yep, so now I have 1,355. So you have a lot of ways that you can select things. We also, just to go through these pretty quickly, two other modes, we can get all instances of a family type. And this is useful too if you want to do something specific to a family type. So I can select that family type by name. So if I want to get all the fixed window here, I can get all those instances. And again, this node is available from the Revit selection. So these two nodes. And then the last one is if I want to get a particular element, I can select it from the model. So I can just click, this is select model element, and I have select model elements. I also have, I can select a point on face, select a UV on face, I can select an edge, a face, whatever I want. I have a lot of options in terms of how I can select things in the model. So all I would do here, I click on the change button. Actually, I'm going to switch over to pull Revit down here, and I can select, you know, a particular room or something like that directly in the model, and then I see its element ID right here. So if I do want to work on something very, very specific or perform, you know, my script on something specific, I could use one of these two nodes. Sometimes too, those are useful if you're testing something out and you want to just, you know, be very precise, or you don't want to do it across hundreds of elements. You just want to test it on one element. And what's great is, again, using any of these recipes, I can use them as inputs in a lot of these other recipes, which I'm going to show you. So that is our first one, selecting elements.